At 19 years old, he walked into Real Madrid, the biggest stage in football, a place where even legends struggle to survive. No easing in, no time to adapt, no patience for mistakes. And yet, almost instantly, everything started to revolve around him. He wasn't a striker, but he scored like one. He wasn't the most experienced, but he played like a veteran. And somehow, in a team full of world-class stars, he became the one who decided the biggest moments, late winners, clutch performances, nights where the pressure is supposed to break you, but instead, he owned them. Fans didn't just accept him, they depended on him. Teammates didn't just trust him, they looked for him. And suddenly, the question wasn't whether he could handle Madrid. It was how a teenager had taken control of it so quickly. So how did Jude Bellingham go from a young prospect in England to the most important player at the biggest club in the world almost overnight? And with the England national team searching for its next true leader on the world stage, is this just the beginning of something even greater? Long before the lights of the Santiago Bernabeu, before the pressure, before the expectations, Jude Bellingham was just a kid growing up in Birmingham, England. But unlike many stories in football, this wasn't chaos. It wasn't survival. It was structure, discipline, guidance. His father, a police officer, instilled control and responsibility. His family built an environment where talent wasn't enough. You had to earn everything. And from a young age, Jude wasn't just playing football. He was understanding it. While other kids relied on raw ability, he stood out for something else. His awareness, his composure, the way he read the game like someone far older than his years. On local pitches, he didn't feel normal for his age. He dictated. He controlled the tempo, demanded the ball, and played with a confidence that didn't feel normal for his age. It was clear early on, this wasn't just another talented kid. This was someone being prepared for something bigger. That preparation led him to Birmingham City, and at just 16 years old, Jude Bellingham did something almost unheard of. He made his first team debut, not as a late substitute, not as a prospect being slowly introduced, but as a player trusted to compete with grown men in one of the toughest leagues in England. And from the very first touches, something felt different. He didn't play like a kid trying to survive. He played like someone who belonged. Strong in challenges, calm under pressure, always demanding the ball, always involved. Game after game, that confidence only grew. He wasn't hiding, he was controlling, dictating tempo, breaking lines, influencing matches in ways that players twice his age struggled to do. Fans started to realize what they were watching. Not just potential, but presence. And when a club retires your shirt at 17, it means one thing: you're not normal. But in football, being special at 16 is one thing. Proving it on the biggest stage in the world is something else entirely. Instead of taking the obvious path, staying in England, chasing the Premier League spotlight, Jude Bellingham made a decision that surprised almost everyone. He chose Borussia Dortmund. No hype-driven move, no shortcuts, just a clear step into one of Europe's best development environments, a place where young players aren't just given chances, they're trusted. And once again, he didn't need time. From his very first season, he looked ready, competing in the Bundesliga, playing in the Champions League, facing elite opponents, and never looking out of place. But what truly stood out wasn't just his ability, it was his mentality. He played with intensity, with responsibility, with leadership that didn't match his age, demanding the ball, driving the team forward, acting like the game depended on him, even when he was still a teenager. Slowly, quietly, he wasn't just developing, he was becoming one of the most complete young midfielders in the world. And across Europe, the biggest clubs, it didn't take long before Jude Bellingham stopped being seen as a young talent and started being treated like one of the best midfielders in Europe. At Borussia Dortmund, he wasn't just developing, he was dominating. Champions League nights became his stage. Against elite opposition, in high-pressure moments, he didn't shrink. He stepped forward, driving through midfields, winning duels, creating chances, scoring goals, doing everything. And then came something even more telling. The armband. At an age where most players are still learning their role, he was leading a historic club, organising teammates, setting the tempo, carrying responsibility like it was second nature. This wasn't potential anymore. This wasn't hype. This was proof. Proof that he could handle pressure. Proof that he could perform at the highest level. Proof that he was already elite. And suddenly, the conversation changed. He wasn't the future of football anymore. He was already one of its present stars. And with that rise came a different kind of pressure. Because when a player becomes this good, this young, the game doesn't just watch, it waits. Every top club in Europe was circling. Offers, rumours, headlines, every move he made was under the microscope. Jude Bellingham wasn't just choosing his next team. He was choosing the direction of his entire career. Stay in Germany and keep developing. Return to England and face the Premier League spotlight. Or take the biggest risk of all. Join Real Madrid, a club where expectations aren't built over time, they exist from day one. Where history doesn't wait for you to grow into it. You either match it or you disappear. For many players, this is where hesitation creeps in. One wrong decision, one wrong move, and everything you've built can start to fall apart because talent can take you far. But at this level, your decisions define you. In the end, Jude Bellingham made the one choice that carried the most risk and the highest ceiling. He chose Real Madrid. Not the easiest path, not the most comfortable option, but the one place where greatness isn't promised, it's demanded. For most players, a move like this comes with time to adjust, a season to settle, a period to learn the system, the pressure, the expectations. He didn't wait for any of that. From the moment he arrived, there was a sense that he wasn't here to adapt. He was here to impact. Training sessions, pre-season games, early matches, you could already see it. The confidence, the presence, the way he carried himself like he belonged at the very top. This wasn't a young player trying to find his place. This was someone ready to take responsibility, ready to lead, ready to embrace everything that comes with wearing that shirt. He didn't choose Madrid to be part of the story. He chose it to become the story. And then he did something no one expected. From the very first games, Jude Bellingham didn't just perform, he took over. He wasn't playing like a midfielder anymore. He was arriving in the box, scoring goals, deciding matches like a striker. Week after week, he delivered. Late winners, crucial moments. Performances that turned pressure into belief. At Real Madrid, where legends are measured by what they do in the biggest moments, he didn't need time to prove himself. He did it immediately. The system adjusted to him. The team relied on him. And the fans, they didn't just support him, they believed in him. Defenders tried to track him, but his movement was too intelligent. Midfielders tried to match him, but his physicality and timing were too complete. He was everywhere, in every phase. In every key moment, it felt unreal. A teenager walking into the biggest club in the world and becoming its most decisive player almost overnight. He didn't adapt to Madrid. Madrid adapted to him. But what truly separates Jude Bellingham isn't just the goals or the performances. It's the presence he carries every time he steps onto the pitch. There's a confidence in the way he moves. The way he demands the ball, the way he reacts in big moments. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel learned. It feels natural. He plays like someone who expects to decide games, like someone who believes the biggest moments belong to him. And his teammates feel it. They trust him, look for him, lean on him when the game is on the line. Because beyond the skill, beyond the physicality, there's leadership. Not the loud kind, Not the kind that needs to prove itself, but the kind that shows through actions, through consistency, through stepping up when it matters most. At an age where most players are still finding their identity, he already knows exactly who he is. Not just a midfielder, not just a rising star, but a presence that changes everything around him.